Hello everyone, welcome back to the Budget Sportsman. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. We have had an awesome day out here at the Tethrd Teach-N-Train event in central Pennsylvania. We had a lot of folks come out. We've been having a great time talking saddles, and it's been really neat to see a couple of guys come out who had never been in a saddle before and see their face light up as they got to try it for the first time. It was really fun to give them some tips and tricks. I don't have a ton of experience for years and years, but a couple of my tips and tricks that I learned last year saddle hunting, one of them was angling the platform down, and to see several guys who go, wow, that made such a difference in comfort. And I know everybody's different. Not everybody likes what I like, but it was neat to see some guys who really responded to the tips that I gave them. But that's not what this video is really about. This video is a bit of a comparison video between 3 different tethered saddles, because here at the event, they've got some saddles to try, and I've been able to sit in several different saddles that I've never tried before. And so I'm gonna compare 3 different saddles. The first is gonna be the Tethrd Phantom, which has been my go-to saddle. I love this saddle, hunted out of it last year, killed my buck out of it last year. I love the Phantom saddle. But then I also got to try today the Menace, and the Menace is not a one-size-fits-all, it's a size saddle, and this is a size medium. I've also got a size large over here if the medium doesn't feel quite right. And then last is the Eberhart Signature saddle. This is a 2-panel strappy design saddle. And so I'm gonna sit in each one of them. And obviously this is not a long-term review. This is only initial impressions because I've only had a few minutes to sit in each one today. But I wanted to take the opportunity to make some content about which saddle I think is best from Tethrd's offerings. So I'm gonna get in the tree behind me, sit in each one for just a few minutes and tell you what I think. All right, so first up tonight is the Tethrd Phantom saddle. Now, you know I've been hunting out of this saddle for a while now. I've got more experience with it than the others, but in my opinion, this is Tethrd's premium offering, and it's for good reason. There's a lot of great features. One of the things that I love about it is the adjustable bridge. I don't have time to show you all of these features right now because I want to keep this video short, but I love that I can pull it tight like a waist belt in transport mode and not have the bridge flopping down. Love the adjustable bridge in the tree if I need to adjust my length of the bridge a little bit. I love the comfort channels. I love how you adjust the comfort channels. They make a big difference for me in comfort to be able to adjust the comfort channels on the Phantom. If you're not familiar with that, I've got a whole nother video about that on the channel. I love the big lineman's loops that stick out to the side. They are really, really great. I really love them. Another thing I love is the mesh material of the seat. And in addition to that, I love the amount of cupping that this saddle has. I'm a leaner. I spend most of my time in the tree just like I am right now, leaning out away from the tree. And I find that a lot of saddles have a little too much cup for me. Maybe it's just the size of my backside, but I think some of them, if you're into sitting or kneeling into the tree a lot more, that extra cup as your body angle changes might be more comfortable. But as a leaner, I find that this saddle has just the right amount of cup for really good comfort when I'm leaning. There's really not much I don't like about this saddle. If there was to be one negative, it's kind of rated as a one-size-fits-all. And we had a couple of guys here today that were just a little bit too big. Yes, it's rated to go up to about a 40-inch waist, I think. We had a couple of guys that were just a little bit too big for the Phantom today. So that is one downside. However, I've heard rumors that there is going to be a Phantom XL coming, so you may want to stay tuned for that. And I think this is going to be a great option for some of the larger guys out there. But overall, I love the Phantom saddle. So now let's go over to the Menace and see how it differs and what we think of the Menace. All right, so I'm back up in the tree now, and I'm with this Tethrd Menace saddle. The one I'm currently wearing is a size medium. I am about a 34-inch waist. I would say that for me, I've tried both the medium and the large today, and I'm gonna say I probably would gravitate toward the large for my comfort. It wraps around just a little bit more and just is a little bit taller from top to bottom. Again, if you're a bigger size guy, they do make this into a large and an extra large. And I think if the Phantom is not an option for you, then the Menace might be a really good option for you. Now, what things are different from this over the Phantom saddle? Well, one is the bridge is not adjustable. I'm not sure if I mentioned that on the Phantom, but the Phantom does have an adjustable length bridge. The Menace does not. And while I didn't measure it, it feels like it might be a little bit shorter of a bridge. So climbing up in here, I had to make an adjustment on my tether to get me about the same position. Is that a deal breaker? No, not really, but I do prefer a little bit longer bridge. It opens up that angle on the hips and makes it feel really good. One thing you're going to notice is that these lineman loops are different, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it from there, but they come out basically horizontally to the ground rather than the ones that are vertical on the Phantom. They are nice and stiff though. I don't think there's any issue with them not being large enough. They're nice and stiff and fairly large, and I don't think there's any issue. It's just something to point out that they are designed a little bit differently. You do have these tensioners right here. I'm not sure what they're called exactly, but that you can kind of play around with how much tension is on the bottom versus the top. And I am noticing that it does make a little bit of a difference about how much pressure maybe I feel on the bottom strap there. If I loosen those, it definitely takes some of the pressure off the bottom strap. If I tighten them up, it puts more of the pressure and cups under the bottom there a little bit better. So it just kind of depends on your feel. The leg straps are almost identical to the Phantom. That's no problem at all. One thing you are going to notice is there are no comfort channels. So basically your way to adjust pressure from top to bottom is going to be these straps. I feel like the comfort channels do work a little bit better than these straps do. Now, another thing to point out is this is not a mesh material on the back. This is more of a, I don't know, Corduro or something like that. This would be more closely resemble something like the H2 saddle. Now, as I mentioned with the Phantom about the cupping, I feel like maybe, especially when I moved to the large, that the cupping was a little bit more significant on the Menace than it is on the Phantom. Again, when I sit against the tree, that feels really nice. It just cups around nicely, and I have no problem with that. But being a leaner, I do feel like I get more pressure on the straps than I do on the actual material, and makes it slightly less comfortable for me. Overall, I think this is a quality saddle, a good option, especially for those who maybe are too large for the Phantom. But again, there's no question in my mind that features like the comfort channels, the adjustable bridge, the mesh design, all make the Phantom the more superior saddle. Now let's check out the Eberhart Signature saddle. Okay, so before I get back in the tree with the Eberhart Signature saddle, I want to say one thing first. I love Tethrd products. I love the Phantom, I love the Predator platform, I love the guys over at Tethrd, I love their customer service, I love the energy that they bring to the saddle hunting community. However, I am far from being a Tethrd fanboy, and so I am going to call this one like I see it. Today, I was here early, I was helping to set up some of the demo gear, and I pulled the ESS out of the box, and I went, what is this? Just basically tangled mess of straps. What in the world are these absolute monster metal D-loops here? And I just thought, what is this thing? But later in the day, I got a little bit of a break. And I thought, okay, I am going to go ahead and give it a chance, because maybe once you get used to it, it's something worthwhile. And I got it out and I started trying to figure out all the straps, and it took me several minutes, literally minutes, maybe up to 5 minutes, to figure out how to get it untangled, how to position it, and how to get it on my body. I looked over at one of the guys nearby. I said, if I had to hunt with this every single time, I would just simply give up hunting. It is so incredibly frustrating. Furthermore, when I got it on and I got into the tree, I honestly felt like it was one of the least comfortable saddles that I have ever tried in my life. Again, I'm not bashing Tethrd, I love Tethrd, but this saddle simply does not make any sense to me. I'm gonna put it on one more time, I'm gonna get in the tree, and I'm gonna tell you some of the reasons why it just didn't work for me. It could be that I don't know what I'm doing with it, but so far, I'm not a fan. All right, well, I'm up here in the tree and I'm just trying to figure out these two different panels here. All right, I think I got it. Okay. All right, so this is my second time in the tree with the ESS. It definitely is a chore to get on. It's simply not as easy as the Phantom or the Menace. I'm assuming that after a while you would get used to it, you'd figure it out, and it would be no problem. As I sit here, it's really not bad. It feels fairly comfortable. But one thing that you're gonna have to realize very quickly is that these leg straps here come way up to these D-loops. The first time I got in the tree, I had those really tight, and they put a lot of pressure on areas that I didn't want a lot of pressure. So as I sit here, I think, well, it's not too bad. It feels actually a lot like a single panel design. So I thought, well, let me pull this up and put it on my back. And again, I may be doing something wrong, but that put a ton of pressure down here on these leg straps. I need to loosen them again. And it feels like it's really, really pinching like my kidneys area. It's just a lot of pressure almost on the base of my ribs. That's not comfortable at all. So let me try to pull these down a little bit. Okay, again, That brings a lot more comfort back into it. But this is only my opinion, and again, only initial impressions. This thing does not hold a candle to the Phantom in comfort, in usability, in user friendliness, in speed, in weight, in even quietness, because you've got these big metal buckles. So again, I'm not a Tethrd fanboy, and I'm gonna call it like I see it. There is just no way that I'd spend my hard-earned dollars on the Eberhart Signature saddle. Well guys, there it is, my thoughts on the three main saddle offerings from Tethrd as a company. Now again, please don't take my criticism of the ESS too seriously. I realize that I've only spent a few minutes with the saddle, and it's not a long-term review. Maybe my opinions would change if I spent more time with the saddle. But frankly, for me, it was just simply evident right out of the gate that it wasn't a saddle that I would ever personally be interested in, but that doesn't mean it might not be right for you. Now, for me, I would rank the Phantom as absolutely the #1 top-of-the-line rating from Tethrd for the features and comfort of the saddle. But I think that the Menace is a really great offering depending on your budget, depending on your body style and size, and depending on the way that you prefer to sit in the tree. So I hope this video has been helpful for you to kind of get a quick overview of some of the features and differences between the three saddle offerings from Tethrd. If it's been helpful to you, I'd appreciate if you left a comment down below and let me know what you think about these different saddles. Until next time, remember to get off YouTube and get outdoors into God's great creation.